That's like if I just put a piece of glass on a wall and said, "That's my invisible art piece. Pay me $2 million for it."
Silly people don't
And
know.
now that I think about it, I feel like some people would buy
We
that.
could do that.
So nobody take that idea. That's mine. No one take that. Copyright. That's mine.
TM, we're going to make some money.
Dibs. Hello and welcome to another edition of Popcorn Bucket List, and we have finally made it. We made it to the month of July. I've had this one circled on my calendar for quite a while here now.
It's going to be a busy month, and I'm excited.
It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a busy one. Look, I'll be honest. I've been looking forward to this more than I've been looking forward to Christmas.
Oh, that's a bit of a stretch for me, but
I'm just saying there's like the 25 days of Christmas. We're into like the 25 days of July right now.
I like the dog. They call those the dog days of summer.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, basically. So yeah, we're going to talk about obviously the ones coming out here this weekend. Focus on those, but there is a lot to focus on throughout this whole month. Mm-hmm. I'm super excited about it, in case you couldn't tell, but we're going to just kind of take a moment here this week for our opening spotlight to kind of talk a little bit more about blockbusters in general. That's what's on our mind as we go into July here. We got some of the biggest blockbusters coming out all in the same month here. But before we even really get really deep diving into blockbusters and their history and whatnot here, that kind of brings us to our library topic for the month.
Ah, yes, it does.
Kept it kind of simple this month here, but a very fun one. Some of our favorite blockbusters of all time we are recommending here this month. And if you want to check those out, make sure you head on over to the Marshall County Library for their display. And those will be available all month long. And I can speak for myself. I know at least one of them, if not maybe two of them, kind of ties into some of the movies we're going to be talking about here throughout this whole month of July here in general. So,
I know at least one will.
One of yours as well?
Yeah.
We might have to double check because I have a feeling we might be picking the same one here. We haven't checked each other's picks yet. We're going to talk about that after the show, but you doubt it.
I doubt it.
Oh, okay. All right.
X doubt.
All right. I'll take your word for it on that one then. But so we don't know each other's picks yet. We haven't talked about it. We just know that's the topic. So if you want to find out what we're recommending for this month's topic, best blockbusters of all time, check that out over at the Marshall County Library. But let's now jump into the actual opening spotlight here officially. Blockbusters. Let's try and define it. I always kind of try and challenge you, first and foremost. How would you define a blockbuster in your words?
How would I define a blockbuster in my own words? Well, the number one thing is it has to make money. It's got to make a lot of money. Two, I think it has to be culturally prevalent at the time. It doesn't necessarily need to hold up to history, but it needs to be everybody's talking about this right now at this time. So I think you got to have money. You got to have the cultural relevance. And I feel like there's another thing, but maybe you just got to have that little panache to it. That little, what's that word?
I don't know what that is.
It's got a little something to it
Finesse?
that just makes finesse. Just a little something extra that makes it a blockbuster.
Let me ask you this. Do you think placement in the year has anything to do with it?
Well, if you place it in January, it's probably not a blockbuster. If you place it in February, March, it's probably not a blockbuster. May, June, July, August, and I would say the rest of the year could be a blockbuster. I would say just probably not in those first 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I find it interesting. Usually when you think of a blockbuster, you think of blockbuster summer.
I think summer
you automatically associate it with that. But if I don't know, I mean, I would almost say it's like summer and then fall. It's weird. It almost doesn't apply there, but I would argue like November, December.
Yeah,
again,
because a lot of times big Oscar baity movies tend to come out then, and there's also movies that come out around Christmas time that are blockbusters.
Yeah,
so
Anyway, so yeah, I think that's a pretty good definition overall here, but just for curiosity's sake, I looked it up. According to the Oxford Dictionary definition, the definition of a blockbuster is, quote, a thing of great power or size, in particular a movie, book, or other product that is a great commercial success. I also, just for comparison's sake, looked up the Cambridge Dictionary definition.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, all that one said was a book or movie that is extremely successful.
No.
So I guess that just shows how much work that just shows how much work they put into it in Cambridge over there.
Books can be blockbusters.
That I found interesting as well. They mentioned books in both of them. When have you ever thought of a book as a blockbuster?
I haven't. I to be honest, I think TV shows, but they don't make money. Like, I mean, obviously they make some money, but it's not like this versus a movie. Obviously, the movie makes more money. But, like, I think Game of Thrones, I think Breaking Bad, those are the kind of shows that I would consider blockbusters. But they're not movies.
Plus, I feel like with books, we associate the word bestseller.
Another thing is, like, do those books that they consider blockbusters have an actual blockbuster, like, movie or show that is associated with it or is based off of it?
See, I don't know if you need that connection with it, though, to be honest. Because, like, there are plenty of original stuff that are blockbusters or whatever.
But also, like, some of those bestseller lists are just complete garbage. Like, there's 500 books made it on this month's bestseller list. Like, okay.
I didn't even know 500 books were written in a month.
Like the New York Times bestseller thing, how much...
I find it interesting how we associate blockbuster with movie, and it feels like we associate bestseller with book. Like, never, ever have we ever looked at a movie and went, well, that was a best-selling movie.
Yeah. No.
Should we start doing that just to confuse people? That's what we're going to talk. We're going to talk about Jurassic World next week, and we're like, this was a best-selling summer movie.
Yeah.
See how weird that sounds. You see, it just doesn't feel right in my mouth. It doesn't sound right coming out.
That's funny.
So I found it interesting, too, and this is the reason why I looked up a second dictionary definition. I found it interesting that they included book and movie in both of those.
Yeah, that's goofy.
But I do want to focus a little bit more on that Oxford Dictionary as well, because the first part of it actually kind of ties into the history of the term or the word itself, blockbuster. A great thing of power or size. Blockbuster, when it was first used as a word, had nothing to do with movies or entertainment. Nothing at all. It was a term used in World War II that was basically the name of a bomb that was considered to be one of the most destructive at the time.
Oh, bust up the block.
Yeah, quite literally. You know, if you dropped that bomb on part of a city, it'd be a blockbuster.
Yeah.
They were very literal back then.
I like that.
I mean, it was easier to come up with terms earlier on because none of the good words were taken.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we got to come up with stuff like mother of all bombs, which...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kind of cool name too, though. I cannot lie. It's kind of a cool name.
Yeah, I guess. I just feel like it would do a lot more damage. But anyways, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, so that was a term that was used very widely throughout World War II, blockbuster bombs. And it was a very well-known term throughout the public as well. Eventually, when people got back from the war, and then also TV was such a big thing, theaters needed to find ways to market people to get more interest to come back to the theaters. So they started using the term blockbuster to advertise their films. People knew what blockbuster was. It was big. It was noticeable. Yep. It was something you could keep your eye on.
Yep. Everybody and their dog knows, even if they're not going to watch it, they know that movie's coming out. They know it's around the corner. It's here.
And so, yeah, that's something they used. And that is essentially kind of the late 40s, early 50s. That's when you started hearing the term blockbuster using to advertise movies. I believe it wasn't until the late 1950s. I forget which movie it was now. I didn't put it in my notes here. But finally, when a reviewer used blockbuster to describe the movie as well, that's kind of the next step where it really kind of stepped into the zeitgeist. Now, it wasn't just the advertisers using it. People in the general public were using it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Google. It's a company, but we as the public say Googling something.
Yep.
That's when you know it's kind of reached that new level.
Yep.
So let's talk about the first blockbusters. Like we said before, arguably you could say the first one that people associate to is Jaws.
Yep.
However, I would argue the very first blockbuster was a movie that came out before the word blockbuster was even used. I'm talking about 1915's Birth of a Nation. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, we can look at this movie and know that it was terrible for moral reasons
Yes.
in many different ways.
Yes.
Let's not, even get that confused. However, when you think of a blockbuster, as you kind of talked about, something that was culturally relevant and made a lot of money. At the time, that movie made a lot of money.
It did make a lot of money.
I believe 11 million by the standards.
They went around the country, everywhere, showing that movie.
So, yeah, if you want to talk about the origins of the concept of a blockbuster, you have to talk about that. I think the reason why we don't necessarily associate it with that is because A, 11 million compared to nowadays doesn't seem like much, and B, because of its deep-rooted racism. But
what the movie's about,
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It just is. But if you look at it from the concept of a blockbuster, that's essentially what it did.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I also would argue that the idea of a blockbuster movie kind of got the ball rolling just a few years before 1975. It's not just like all of a sudden just enough people were going to the movies and then boom, it was just everyone went in 1975 with Jaws. You look at 1973's The Exorcist. That was a big movie that year. And I believe, if my research is correct here, which fact check me if you want to, that year was the first year that globally the total box office growth reached over $1 billion. So it had to contribute to that.
Yep.
And then the next year, it was another $1 billion. And ever since then, we've never gone.
It's never
lower
gone
than
back.
that. Yeah.
Never gone back.
So it wasn't just all of a sudden Jaws came out and everyone's like, oh, you heard about this movie theater thing? Let's go check that out.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of a buildup there those
Yeah.
first few years, especially with The Exorcist. And then you could argue 1974's Towering Inferno led to that a little bit as well. So,
Yeah, very good.
but then 1975 comes around, Jaws is released, and history was never the same again.
Correct.
Summer movie season became a little bit more of a thing. You had Star Wars coming out a few years after that, Superman kind of in the late 70s as well. And, it's kind of led to where we're at today.
Yep.
We look
And
forward to the summer movie season.
It's still kind of the same playbook. Summer movie season, early or later into June, July, and August, blockbusters. That's when the big tentpole films come out.
But yeah, essentially, like we said, that did get the ball rolling there, and the average total worldwide box office each and every year has grown every year, with the exception of, I kind of did a little bit of a graph thing. We'll put it on screen here a little bit. It does very consistently grow until you hit the 2020, 2024 kind of section. Obviously, 2020 was like the first time that the billion-dollar number was in the single digits since 1996.
Yeah.
The last time it was in a single digit was 1996. I think that was Independence Day came out that year. And then it finally hit like the 10 billion mark, and then it kept going up. Then obviously due to COVID, it dropped down. So it's kind of hard to look at these averages now and compare it to the other ones and look at it fairly. But ever since then, it has continued to grow. So arguably, like I said, I feel like Jaws shouldn't maybe necessarily get the moniker of first blockbuster, but I think it should get the credit of growing what we know as summer movie season.
I like that. I like putting it that way. That sounds nice.
Yeah. No disrespect to Spielberg.
Yeah.
Big Spielberg head over here. Yeah. Please don't come after me. Hey, we talk a lot about movies on this channel, but sometimes the ones we talk about aren't the most accessible. That's where the Marshall-Lyon County Library comes in handy. They have a great collection of physical media, as well as a couple of online services with many, many options for movies, TV shows, and documentaries. It's easy. Just get your own library card at the Marshall-Lyon County Library and gain access to their large variety of movies, TV shows, and of course, books. Also, be sure to check back every month as we here at Popcorn Bucket List make specific movie recommendations based on a monthly theme. So head on over to the Marshall-Lyon County Library for some of our favorites and check out the channel to get even more movie recommendations. And now, on with the show! But with that, let's move then into the weekly preview, talk about some of these big movies that will add to the global box office and hopefully bump that number up a little bit more here, make up some of that lost ground 2020 had.
Yeah.
All these movies will be out Wednesday, July 2nd to beat the 4th of July sort of rush and crowds and everything. So by the time this video is out, these movies will all be available. That's not something we generally run into.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, we'll get one or two. But.
Yeah, usually it's like, one movie will be out that day we release.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, no, these will all be out.
Yeah. So
great of you.
So it's very possible by the time you see this video, you'll know more about these movies than we do.
Yeah.
All of them. But let's kick things off with the big ticket item here in Jurassic World Rebirth, coming straight to theaters. Overall, this is the 7th installment in the Jurassic Park movie franchise. This time introducing new dinosaurs, new characters, but the same kind of danger. I found it interesting when I was setting up the set here before we filmed. I was hanging up our Jurassic World Dominion poster, and I noticed at the very top, you probably can't read it unless you're kind of close up, the epic conclusion is what it says. And yet here we are talking about a 7th film.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure they're planning on doing 3 more, aren't they?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure it's like a whole nother trilogy coming. But I could be wrong. But
probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I'm just putting this out here to Hollywood. Even if you know it's the final movie, just don't put it's the final movie in your poster anymore. Because we won't believe it.
It ruins it. It
really does. And I mean, Jurassic World Dominion was ruined as it is already, so I don't know how much more damage they could have done to it, but whatever. Anyways, I would argue out of the 6 movies before this one, only like 1.5 of them are good to great.
Yeah.
And yet, despite that horrible track record, despite this losing number here, I'm still looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I am too.
That's how good that first one really was. That it had enough of an effect in staying power that even after we essentially got dumped by the same person 5 times after that, that first date was so good that we're still coming back.
Yep. That's a great way to put it because the last couple, oh boy.
Oh my God.
But I'm excited for another one. I think it's maybe some of that nature. Like people want to see dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are fascinating. Dinosaurs are real. For some of those people out there that think dinosaurs aren't real, they're real. And it's super cool to see them on the big screen. It's cool.
I do find it interesting whenever they get in some of those later movies and when people are like, how do they keep coming back to this park even after everything that terrible happens? And we've made 6 of these movies. It's like, this is real life. 100%. If someone created real dinosaurs in a park and things kept going wrong, 100% people would go back.
You know why? Because there's money there. And that same thing with this movie. There's money there.
As bad as you even mentioned, those last few were, and I agree with you, Dominion is one of the worst, if not the worst. They still made money.
There's money. That's why we're getting another one. It's not concluded.
That's why we're going to get probably a few more after that.
Yeah.
So, plus, I mean, Scarlett Johansson's done with Marvel, so she needs something else, I guess. So. So I will say, as much as we've bashed the other ones here, let's focus a little bit more on this one here. I do believe this one. Okay, I maybe shouldn't believe. I truly hope this one is good because it really is a fun concept. Man versus dinosaurs, this argument of evolution, extinction, what happens when you bring them back. But also, I think some of the behind-the-scenes stuff is pretty cool here as well. This movie is directed by Gareth Edwards, who did Rogue One. We've talked a lot about Rogue One. The Creator, another cool sci-fi movie, and 2014's Godzilla, which story-wise, neither of us are the biggest fans of, but that movie did a very good job of sort of man versus giant beasts. So the guy's got the track record. I think
he can do it. I think he can hopefully put together a pretty good film.
Yeah. Plus, you have some new dinosaurs, it seems like. Brand new. Genetically modified. And hopefully they learned the lessons from the Indominus Rex, which made him like too militarized or weaponized.
Yep.
Like, why would you make a dinosaur that goes invisible? It's supposed to be on display.
Yeah.
That's like if I just put a piece of glass on a wall and said, that's my invisible art piece. Pay me $2 million for it.
Silly people don't know.
And now that I think about it, I feel like some people would buy
we
that.
could do that.
So nobody take that idea. That's mine. No one take that. Copyright. That's mine.
TM. We're going to make some money.
Dibs on that one. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say we're both looking forward to this one. And I hope we're back. I hope it's back. I hope it does good. I really do. Also coming out this weekend, another sort of jungle adventure here. got an interesting theme going right now. Actually, looking forward to the next few. It's actually a very consistent theme. We'll talk about that. I'm just realizing that now. Also coming out to Paramount Plus, Dora and the Search for Sol Dorado. Not officially rated, so I'm just gonna say it's rated R because I think that's funny. Even though even though it's not, it's gonna be a kids movie.
I'm sure they have one word or two words in there that are funny. That it's gonna get, if they leave them in, it's a PG-13 movie. But if they take them out, like the company's like, no, they're not bad. We're not taking them out. Then they said, fine, you're not getting a rating then. And that's what they said. Fine, it's Dora the Explorer.
Yeah,
you know what you're watching.
I just think it'd be funny to see an R-rated Dora the Explorer.
There's some like comedy things online of
I know there's like some internet spoofs and all that, and that's why I know it would work is because just those short videos are funny. So until someone tells me otherwise, Dora the Explorer rated R coming to Paramount Plus. Funny. If Paramount doesn't like that, put a rating on it, bro.
Yeah, brah.
This is a loose sequel to Dora and the Lost City. Dora, Boots, and Diego go on another adventure, this time in search of a magical orb that grants one wish.
The orb.
Basically, this is a kid version of Dragon Ball, where instead of 7, you just need the 1.
Nice.
Which, I mean, if I'm going to go on an adventure, I'm going to pick this one. Because, you only got to find the 1 and you get the wish.
I would do Dragon Ball.
And I respect your decision for that. But guess what? I'm going to grab that one wish orb and I'm going to go, I wish Ryan could never find all 7 Dragon Balls. And I'm going to waste my one wish just to screw you over on that. Because I think that would be funnier than anything else. You'd be approaching that 7th one, finally about to reach a question, and then it would just disappear.
Oh,
I think that would be funnier than anything else.
That'd be crazy.
Oh, that'd be the greatest prank known to man. But yeah, basically, you kind of know what you're going to get here.
Yep.
Dora going through a jungle adventure, probably learn some lessons along the way. Swiper's there, Boots is there.
Swiper, no swiping.
Yeah. This time Boots, though, actually has a voice actor. I don't believe Boots had a voice actor with the first one here.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Gabriel,
we liked Dora in our house, but the live action one, just not.
Yeah. Feels like the live action one was made specifically for people who are kids who were kind of just getting out of that age.
Yeah. But
it's still like good enough for young kids, kind of. I would say, but I don't know. You had Gabriel Iglesias apparently is going to be voicing Boots in this one here. Yeah,
I haven't heard of him in a while.
He's been doing some stuff here and there.
Stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to that. But I don't know. Overall, here I think if you are a fan of Dora, you're probably going to like this one.
Yep.
Also coming out this weekend, Heads of State. This one coming straight to Prime Video, starring John Cena and Idris Elba as they play the President of the United States and the UK Prime Minister, respectively. After one of the worst security breaches in history, they must work together to survive. Another one where they end up in a jungle. I don't know if it's for the full movie, but they land in a jungle. So we are 3 for 3 for
jungle. Pretty good.
Jungle adventures here.
Yeah. I think it looks fun. It looks fun. I like Idris Elba a lot. I have to give points to the trailer because this trailer was really good. It was unique. It was new. Even if maybe the story and the action and all of that is going to be the same as some of these other action movies, the trailer was something new.
I will say, as far as this movie being an action comedy goes, I'll agree with you on the action part of it. I think the trailer really did show off some of the good concepts of some of the action here and everything. Mm-hmm. Comedy, it looked like there's a little bit left to be desired there.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. And I think of John Cena as a very good, funny action comedy guy, and Idris Elba has some comedic chops as well.
Yeah.
So that's why it concerned me a little bit here, is it shouldn't be too hard to get funny moments out of these two, and either they just didn't or they just didn't show it in these trailers, which worries me a little bit, but I do think the action looks good.
Action looks good. And I just thought the way they presented the trailer was really cool. The unique, him narrating everything as it was happening, I really liked that. It was cool.
Side note, movie also stars Jack Quaid here. He's having a pretty good year.
Yeah, he is.
Huey.
You
know, when he gets out of that bunker, with the butcher, you know, he can actually do some other work every once in a while.
Yeah.
But last but certainly not least, we got The Old Guard 2 coming straight to Netflix here. This one's rated R, starring Charlize Theron as and her team of immortal warriors, they now face an even bigger threat from one Uma Thurman.
Yeah. I never saw the first one, but knowing Uma Thurman's in this one, got to watch it. And you see she was rocking a samurai sword at the end.
I figured you'd have something to say about
it's
that.
going to be, I hope that it's like, she says, like, yes, this is a Yoriyame sword. I can't remember the specific
I don't
name.
think they're going to make that reference, but
you never know.
I'd
If
be
they do,
I'd be happy to be wrong.
it's Netflix. This isn't going to a movie theater. This is a Netflix movie, so they better make that reference.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to dive a little bit more into the lore here in this one about these
Immortals.
Yeah, immortals, which original name there, I guess, but whatever. And I guess the action does look good. Uma Thurman, despite the fact she's been around for a while, still looks like she can kick some pretty serious butts. So that might be a reason to check that out as well. So, but that is everything coming out here this weekend. Let's talk. Well, actually, think everything coming out here this midweek.
Yep.
Because it's already out. But let's talk about some other things we saw here recently. It's time for another edition of Number One Recommends. And I have you listed first, but I have a feeling you're going to steal.
I'm not going to steal yours.
You're not going to?
No.
You're going to be nice to me?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm a nice guy.
Yeah. Still feels like this is a trap,
Nice
though.
guy. Nope.
All right. What are you recommending then?
I am recommending a movie with a number in the title known as M3GAN 2.0. M3GAN 2.0. I liked this movie, and I want to dedicate this movie to a good friend of mine named Reed because he thought this was going to be a scary movie. It's not a scary movie. It is almost like a buddy cop movie. It's pretty funny. Not a lot of elements of horror. There's a few things. I wouldn't say there's any elements of horror. There's a few elements of killing, but I would not say horror.
PG-13
But it's
killing.
PG-13 killing.
You don't even see that much of it.
It's fun. It's okay. So, yeah. That's what I'm recommending.
So you're recommending it just to challenge Reed to go and see it,
yeah,
basically?
Text me. Let's go watch it. I'll bring
Let
you.
us know when you see it, Reed. Let us know in the comments. We're challenging. We're throwing down the gauntlet.
Yeah. Yep.
Grow a spine, man. Go and check it out. Anyways, speaking of a spine, my recommend here is F1 because you got to have a pretty strong spine to drive those F1 cars.
that's true.
Man. I knew going into this there was a good chance it was probably going to be a movie I liked, again, because of the motorsports aspect. I'll say again, I'm a big motorsports fan. But, this movie knocked my socks off, quite literally. My feet were trying to imitate the gas and brake pedal throughout most of it as well. I said in one of my reviews, you'll never be able to fully feel the actual G-force they're experiencing in these cars in the movie theater, just because, you basically have to create these huge sim rigs for everyone in there.
Yeah.
This movie gets you pretty close, considering the technology and everything nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm comparing it to, Days of Thunder. That was kind of the last, big tentpole movie that was, trying to get you inside the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And people are going to say, Talladega Nights, well, that was more of a comedy. That purpose was just make more jokes.
Yep.
The goal wasn't to make you feel like a driver. Days of Thunder, Ford v Ferrari, I would argue, and F1, and also Rush, which I do still think is a little bit better, but just by a little bit, I think all really put you in the driver's seat as best they could, given the filmmaking techniques and technology at the time. So if you want to feel a little bit of that intensity, but not, have your noggin rocked, basically, this is a good way to do it. And I think it's got a very interesting story, a very good ending overall. Just a great time. Go and check it out. So, well, that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Popcorn Bucket List. Check out the description below here in the YouTube channel. Check out some of our friends, including Smack Entertainment, Minnesota Sports Live, and David Nader, who I'm going to bet probably won't be having anything new in the near future unless he gives us some updates from on location.
Yeah,
I think
that would be cool.
I think that'd be a reason to
sweet.
check it out.
Yeah.
Our friend David, he's traveling internationally here, so we hope some safe travels to him, and look forward to some fun stories from that. And don't forget to bring us some Pokemon cards back.
That's right.
Bud, from your travels. So good luck to him, and go check out his channel in the meantime. For myself, Ryan, and Carter, we'd like to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the movies. We're both just seeing how long it takes for one of us to break
Yeah, I
now.
was like, is he gonna go? Is he gonna go?